videos and stuff like that. And I'm watching these guys, and I don't want to call them out because like this is a minor issue, and they're good guys, but they're grown men. And let me say, for example, they're using a saw, and they're letting the material they're cutting do this number on them, where their saw is right there, is binding up the saw. That's just an example of one thing. That's just general tool usage. And, they're grown men, and then they're all like, oh, I found out this new way to use a saw, and I found out this new way to use a wire nippers. Hey, check out this cool way I learned how to use to sharpen my knives using the Lansky, like foolproof knife sharpener, for example. And like I said, these guys, they're good guys, and I'm not knocking them good videos, and they're doing, the fact is they're out there doing these bushcraft things. The fact is they are out there doing these bushcraft things, and you need to, the fact that they're practicing is an important thing. But it got me thinking, the way they were using their tools, and the saw is a great example, before, is never something I would have even ever thought of doing. And it's not even that I like remember learning to, use your sawing material on the other side of your fulcrum, so that way it bends down or anything like that. That's the revelation this guy came to. It's because I grew up using these things. I mean, I would play with saws like they were toys. Knives were in my hands from a very, very, very young age. Tools in general were just in my hands all the time. My cousins as well, my siblings, we learned how to use tools in a very intuitive way. So I would look at it, and I would never have even thought. I would never have even had to think about how I'm setting it up, because I would have just done it instinctively. So that brings me to my next thing is, parents, don't be afraid to let your kids play with tools. I know that sounds like dangerous. I'm not saying let them run with scissors, okay? I'm not saying, here's a gun, kid. I'm saying, let them play, and get him a little hammer. My boy, he's got a little hammer. I use it, but it's actually a pretty awesome little hammer for pinging, like knife handles, stuff like that. But it's a small, lightweight hammer, and I bought it because I buy him these little woodworking kits, and I let him pre-made stuff for like making a birdhouse or car or a boat, pirate ship. So, let your kids use stuff, try and think of something that's like a starter, like maybe not something sharp, a small little hammer that what's this going to happen, give them some scrap wood, let them hammer on some scrap wood, That's going to help them in their life when they go to use these tools when they grow up in ways I didn't even realize, that I didn't even know how to use my tools until I watched these other guys who are grown men who I figured should already know how to do this stuff, but obviously didn't, and they were learning. They had to learn something right there on video, and that because that means that they're being transparent, and we get to see, things like this. I get to have revelations like this. So I'm not knocking them at all. I just want to see parents. I mean, come on, let your kids do risky shit a little bit. Watch them, okay? Not saying just let them run around with scissors or something, but just teach them how to do this stuff, and they will at some point. They'll just be using tool using tools when they grow up, and they won't even know how or why they do it. They just do it. It'll be great. That's what I think. Let your kids use tools.